Morning, everybody. Adam Savage in my cave, and I've got a fun. Are any of my one-day builds not fun? Are any of them like? I mean, certainly we get to tedium, but when I say I've got a fun one today, it's like, well, that's why I'm doing it. My brother-in-law just moved out of his place up in the hills above Los Angeles. And this is a Bailey number 6, 18-inch plane, if my eyes do not deceive me. That's the Bailey here and the number 6 over here. I'm no genius aficionado of wood planes. However, this is a Bailey number 6 that looks to be in terrific condition, albeit neglected for the better part of a century. However, everything here looks incredibly serviceable. Our wood handle's a little bit cracked, but that's fine. We can actually find these, but I think we'll see what I do with that. Anyway, I'm going to restore this old Bailey wood plane because it's got some family history to it. And I think it'll clean up real well. So the first thing to do is to take it apart and get it into rust remover to get these parts stripped off of all of their century of detritus. Wow. The screws on this are all coming out relatively cooperatively, which tells me that this hasn't been sitting in water for its history. It's just been sitting in a barn somewhere. Actually, I happen to know that it's been sitting in a place that is hot and arid. Is that going to come off? I might be able to unpin that. And that's also, I'll clean that first. Okay, so. But none of these screws are providing a humongous amount of resistance. Oh. Wow, that's fascinating. I'll have to deal with that. I think I can do that. Oh, there we go. I was like, come on. There we go. All right. There's our parts. Yeah. Looks like it's seen better days, but I can get that back into shape. All right. Put that that stuff there. We'll deal with you later. I gotta get you. Ooh. Nope. I gotta get this guy into some rust remover. So. I only need a vessel for a short period of time for a small amount of stuff. So I'm not going to like go crazy with the engineering on this because I don't need to. It's literally just that. All right, let's see if that leaks. I'm gonna do a little check-in. The biggest thing I'm worried about is leakage. So I'm just checking the underside here and all the way around. It looks pretty good. I think this is safe to leave here for a few hours. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Any leakage there and I would have to abandon this, but luckily I don't. All right. We've had the parts soaking in rust remover for a few hours. I'm going to bring them out, lay them out, start to clean them up. Again, this rust remover that I love so much is reusable. Woo! Yeah. Beautiful. All right. Let's start to do some cleaning up, shall we? I think I need a rinsing bucket. Well, I just held a straight edge onto the bottom of this plane. Ooh, wait a second. Are you kidding me? The straight edge isn't straight? All right. That's straight. Meanwhile, this edge seems like it's off by about maybe 3 or 4 thou across 18 inches. I mean, it's very small, but it's there. I just really wanted to see how flat it was. There's not much I can do to change it. I don't have a what do you call it? Surface grinder here at the cave. But I'm just working on slowly cleaning this up. That's all. As I'm sharpening this chisel, I ended up with a couple of interesting things. One was I had a bow here that I couldn't get out because I was clamping here too hard. So I pulled this out, and just the lightest touch turns out to be enough to hold it at the right orientation
And, oh, come on. Focus. There it is. Look at that. That is nice. I know. I got to deal with that thing over there. I just got to keep on burning it in. But that is, I feel like that's respectable. Yeah. Look, less, I think, is always more. Even down to how much force I'm using to do the sharpening. I mean, when I get into a thing where I think if I push really hard, it'll go faster. But it doesn't. So at each stage I'm doing this, I'm just thinking about my body, thinking about where I'm standing, because I was like pushing really hard. My arms are getting all tired, and like I don't have more than like 10 minutes of that in me. But like going gently back and forth like this, I have hours of that. It's just, I'm always endlessly surprised by how little force is necessary in almost every discipline I've ever learned. I'm reaching diminishing returns. I'm getting impatient. I kind of want to wrap up in a few minutes. So it's a good point to stop and come in tomorrow. And that is what I will do. I don't like stopping in the middle of a thing. Can't stand it. Wish I didn't have to, but it is a really important thing to be able to do. Just pause, let the thing sit, let your mind sit, let the evening go quiet, and you grow quiet with it. Yes, philosophy. It's not really philosophy. It's more like... Anyway, yeah. See you in a minute. Good morning. Good morning. It's a new day. I'm feeling good about the crispness of my chisel line. And I am putting some finishing touches on it on the medium stone. Just a little bit more there. All right. All right. Can you see it? I got it up to a 6,000 on a stone. And let's see here. I know this is a terrible thing to do with a knife blade. I'm a terrible knife salesman. At any rate, it's bloody sharp. Let's keep reassembling this guy. All right. There's always one screw that you're missing when you're all done. It
to go back and watch my early footage of this take apart in order to figure out where that went. Oh, okay. And then there are a set of optimal relationships, which I am rusty on. I think that's a properly adjusted plane right there. Let us break out a piece of cedar. Oh, this is very short. Look at that. That is lovely. Oh. Oh, beauty. Truth and beauty. Oh, it's beautiful. Amazing. I'm going to start selling my own line of wooden tape measures, yeah. I consider that a job handily done. I'm very happy with it. I can feel that this blade could get a little bit sharper. I can feel that in the planing. However, and also, I know you watch restoration videos. This is not nearly the level of restoration you usually see where everything is resurfaced ground and brought back to a new condition. I always like leaving evidence, so I didn't do a repaint on this. I will oil it and store it well. This is a beautiful plane, and the curls it's taking off are magnificent. But I want to talk about my taking. How do I say this? I want to talk about leaving early yesterday. I know it just happened a few minutes ago in the video, but in this video, you saw me jam this screwdriver into my hand, and right there. It hurt a lot. Earlier in the week, I had done this with a cutoff wheel. Yeah, it made a perfect groove. Didn't hurt. I've been keeping it disinfected, but as we move through life and we try and discern the intentions of other people, one of the best ways to determine a person's intention is to look at the natural consequences of their actions. What I mean to say is, if you're trying to figure out where someone's coming from, take a look at how their life works. Are you in conflict with them? Are they in conflict with everybody? If they're in conflict with everybody, then that's clearly their goal. That's all I'm saying. If someone's room is always messy, clearly they like a messy room. A person's intentions are discernible by looking at the natural responses, the natural results of their actions, the natural consequences. The same is true for us in examining our own behavior. So I try and be a careful shop practitioner. I try and move slowly and methodically. But when I look up after like a couple of weeks and I've got a ding here on my wrist, I've got one on my index finger here that came from moving too quickly past an end mill, and just a little sharp corner of the end mill just like clipped my finger and cut it. I've got these two injuries, which are fine. They're not, debilitating. They hurt a little bit. I got a little stigmata here, and the accretion of all these injuries tells me something's wrong up here a little bit. Like my shop practice is off. So that's why I went home early. That's why I decided to stop trying to sharpen this knife and be done by dinner time, and went home and slept on it. Because I looked at the natural results of my actions, which was that I'd been hurt in my hands a bunch of times. Which tells me I'm moving too fast. It tells me that I'm moving too quickly through the shop, that I'm impatient for a result. And I mean, there could be all sorts of reasons. I've got a deadline I'm working on. That's kind of, that's occupying part of my head. But also, it's the new year. We had a COVID scare. Everyone's fine in my family, but we had a COVID scare over the holidays, and that's intense. I'm sure everybody watching had some type of intensity over the holidays like that. We all have the stuff that we deal with. The trick is for me to watch myself and note, like, hey, when you're doing a lot of this dinging up your hands, maybe it's you. Maybe it's not the equipment. It is always in my nature to get something done. It is always in my nature. It is one of the great soothing mechanisms of my life to choose a thing and get it done. That is like one of my primary modes of comfort. But when I am trying to get something done in order to feel better, that can get problematic. Like if I'm trying to finish sharpening this thing before dinner time just so I can have something done and cross it off my list, that is I'm handling a piece of steel that I'm slowly making. Just a second. Actually, I'll finish this thought. I'm handling a piece of steel that is slowly getting sharper and sharper and sharper. And if I'm not paying attention, that's going to go right through my flesh. And I had to slow down, and I had to stop my headstrong progress. Okay. I always have an emotional response to hurting my hands. I've talked about in the past that I have a passing out reaction when I have a serious injury. If I have a stitch-worthy cut, anywhere in my body, I'm fine. But on my hands, I pass out right away. I define maker very broadly, but the kind of maker I am involves a lot of very dangerous tools. And it's incumbent on me as a practitioner of using these tools to be careful. I know that sounds like painfully obvious, but frankly, Okay, I think here's the point that I'd like to make at the end of this video. There was a Buddhist practitioner leading a retreat. And at the end of this week-long retreat, where everybody at the retreat had been meditating in silence and had all this intense breakthrough and the intensity of a silent retreat. And as the people in this retreat were getting ready to meet the world again, they went to their Buddhist teacher and they said, how do I reintegrate with the world after this week of silence and self-actualization and realization? How do I do that? And their teacher said, I don't know. They said, this is not a problem you can solve. It's a conundrum you have to manage. And I love this frame of thinking because in shop practice, safety is not a realization. It is a practice. Every single time I use the table saw, I think about, I'm looking at the table saw, you evil bastard. Every time I look at the table saw, I think of the ways the table saw can hurt me. I picture the ways that it's going to be able to hurt me with my hand. I mean, I'm terrified of it, rightfully so. But that extends all the way to stuff like this. When I'm holding on to something like this and I'm forcing it, something's wrong. Something's wrong in here, and it's leading out to what's happening here, and then something ends up being wrong here.
I don't know that I have a lesson for you in this, but for me, going home yesterday was like significant. Just like stopping in the middle, heading on home. That's look, I'm just wheeling you into, the practice as it unfolds before me here in the cave. Thank you guys for joining me for this little philosophical inquiry at the end of this video. Look at this beautiful thing. Bailey number 6, 18-inch plane. I think you are suitably restored to a grand old condition. And thanks for joining me for this one-day build. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.